Oklahoma Gardening is a production of the Oklahoma Cooperative Extension Service as part of the land grant mission of the Division of Agricultural Sciences and Natural Resources at Oklahoma State University, dedicated to improving the quality of life of the citizens of Oklahoma through research-based information. Southwood Landscape and Garden Center, Tulsa's source for great gardens, southwoodgardencenter.com, and the Oklahoma Department of Agriculture, Food, and Forestry, helping to keep Oklahoma green and growing.
We are behind the scenes planning for next season. In the meantime, we hope you enjoy some of our favorite shows from this last year.
On today's Best of Oklahoma Gardening, we are visiting horticultural programs within the Oklahoma Cooperative Extension Service. In Cleveland County, we learn about vermicomposting. Payne County Master Gardeners show us how to make seed bombs. In Tulsa, we explore a cooperative beautification program between the Master Gardeners and local businesses. And in Oklahoma City, a visit to the new Oklahoma County Extension Center includes a Orange Couscous Salad.
Today we're here with Pat Welty. She's one of our Cleveland County Master Gardeners, and she's going to show us our worm bin today. So tell us what you've got going on here. You've got, what kind of worms are these? They're not the worms that we have in Oklahoma, right?
Oh no, they're called red wigglers. They're Icenia fetida is one of the scientific names for them.
Okay.
And we ordered them off of Google online.
Online. Okay. Can you show us some of these red
Absolutely.
wigglers? Okay.
I pulled some this morning.
Okay.
And
they're kind of shy, aren't they?
Well, they like to go to the bottom because they like dark and they like hot.
Yeah.
Warmth and dark and damp.
Is there anything that you can't feed them?
No, do not feed them citrus, meats, dairy, fish.
So very similar to regular composting.
Absolutely,
Okay,
because
except for the orange.
Right. They all those meat and dairy foods attract varmints.
Yeah,
like
we don't want
rats
varmints. We just want worms.
We do not want rats and yucky things in our bed.
Now, most people keep these like under their sink and stuff, but ours are outside year round.
Absolutely, they certainly are.
Now, how do we do that? Are we still putting the light over them in the winter, or just the cover?
No, I do not do that. However, one of the ladies did put a light in the bottom of a big flower pot.
Okay.
She ran a cord through here and put a light bulb.
And just hung it over.
And set it right in there.
Set it right in there.
But you plug it in when it's freezing and unplug it when it's warm because they don't want to cook them. And I lifted the lid up.
Okay.
And the worms were all on top underneath the
light.
The light.
Okay.
Right.
So it's just a heat lamp? Or
a heat lamp.
Okay.
It's not a heat lamp. It was just a 40-watt bulb, I think.
Oh, okay.
Not very strong at all.
You've got newspaper in here, too.
Absolutely.
And that's okay to give them? Because
absolutely. Newspaper, coffee, shredded paper they love. That all needs to be damp.
Okay.
All kinds of vegetables. I've got cantaloupe. Some of my buddies brought worm food today.
Right, and these are from the garden.
These are from our garden buddies. I've got tea leaves.
You've got tea, okay.
Tea bags, cauliflower.
Cauliflower choppings, okay. All kinds of stuff.
Cucumbers, lettuce, celery.
And they just love it.
They love it. They'll eat it. They'll be gone. When I come on Friday, it will be gone.
So do they migrate from new to old, and that's kind of how you
yes, they do.
Okay.
But I pull out these piles, and I'll show you. I pick the piles up off the top, and the worms are underneath. They
so you
go
just
to
put
the bottom.
The worms back.
I throw the worms back.
Because they won't survive in our native soil.
Oh, absolutely not.
Okay.
Oh, see, here's a whole wad. They've gone underneath.
Look at those guys.
Look at that. Isn't that wonderful? And if you're going to start your own worm bin, it takes about a pound for a container to get a good little harvest colony going to harvest. It takes 2 or 3 months to get a harvest.
Okay.
And I harvest these all summer long. I've been harvesting them this year.
And this is just a cinder block square.
Absolutely.
Just full of all your scraps and newspaper and
shredded and wet.
Shredded and
at
wet.
the bottom, they even like corn cobs.
They don't like to dry out, right?
No,
You've got to
no,
keep them
no.
moist.
Yeah.
Okay. They don't like corn cobs either?
They do.
They do. Okay. So just no
here.
citrus.
No citrus.
Okay.
No butter. No. They don't like pineapple. Look at that.
There was one in there.
Okay. I frequently find them. And no seeds. If you put seeds in there, then you're going to have seedlings.
Okay.
I made the mistake of putting kabuka squash seeds in my bin at home. I have a bin at home.
Okay.
And I put kabuka squash seeds in it, and I have beautiful kabuka squash seedlings
There you go.
are growing in my garden.
Right.
That's a flower bed.
That's awesome. So kids love to play with the worms.
Absolutely.
And adults like to play with the worms because
everybody out here loves to play with them. They always come by and say, "How are the worms today?"
But this is an easy way for an urban gardener to compost as well.
Absolutely.
Because you don't need as much space. Okay, so this is a tote that you could use in your home for worms, correct?
Absolutely. I would keep it in the garage.
In the garage? Okay.
Yes.
And just, are you going to want to screen some holes? Or
I'm going to use a drill and drill holes in the sides and the bottom and the top. It needs to be covered because we don't want
no flies or maggots
in it.
Okay.
And this one I'll keep in the garden. This one I would keep under my sink.
Okay, just a small coffee can.
A small coffee can.
Okay.
And put something under them to catch the liquid. And holes in the bottom, sides, and top.
So you're just throwing your scraps immediately in there under your sink.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yes, just need to keep it damp. I keep newspaper in it and a bit of dirt on the bottom to start, soil on the bottom to start.
Just regular potting soil? Or?
Yeah, just a handful of regular potting soil.
Okay.
Because you don't have compost when you start generally.
Right.
And I can show, this one doesn't have holes in the bottom.
Right.
But it does have worms in it.
Well, this makes it easy when you're giving tours.
Yes.
Because you can just get it out.
Right.
Okay. And there's your worms.
The worms are down here.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting. Thank you, Pat.
You're welcome. It's my great pleasure.
Hi, my name's Joan Thomas.
And I'm Nancy Etchison. We're Payne County Master Gardeners. And we're both retired teachers, and we're the co-chairman of the Children's Education Committee for Payne County Master Gardeners. And we'd like to share with you today something that we've done a couple times with kids here in Payne County, and we think it's going to be a lot of fun. It's called seed bombs. Now, doesn't that sound like fun?
Seed bombs. What are we going to do with those?
Well, kids like just the name of seed bombs. Just to start with, they get excited about that. But once they find out what they're going to do with them and what they're for and how they're going to make them, then they get really excited about it.
So Native Americans packed mud around corn seeds to protect them from birds. And about 40 years ago, a Japanese biologist came up with a way to plant his seeds, vegetable and grain seeds, in his fields without tilling or disturbing the residue from previous crops. That idea took off around the world, and we now have seed bombs.
We use clay to protect them.
So you need a mixture of clay, and we are using kitty litter, which is a cheap way of having clay. You can also use artist clay, potter's clay.
Yeah, the potter's clay is pretty expensive, so we choose not to use that. We would like to do the inexpensive way. You can also dig up the clay that Oklahoma is famous for out in your backyard, and you can use that clay. Clay is clay, but that can have a lot of weed seeds in it, so we prefer not to do that. So this will make 10 or 12 golf ball sized seed bombs, which might be enough. That's 3, 4, 5 of these of kitty litter. And then we've got, sometimes we use compost, sometimes we use a good potting soil. You really only need 1 scoop of that. And then we're going to mix it up. And of course, this is going to be messy. So no rings, apron, paper if you're doing this inside for sure. We're going to mix this all up kind of neatly. And then add water. You can use this scoop to sort of give you an idea. We've discovered, though, it takes more
Quite
than
a bit.
1.
And then you're going to mix
And
it
then
up.
we're going to mix this up. Kids really like doing this because it's messy. and fun.
They dry nice and hard, protects the seeds from baking in the sun. It's also hard enough that it keeps birds and other critters from nibbling at the seeds, and they're heavy enough that they don't blow away or wash away in the rain.
So what we're going to do today, this is enough to make, like I said, 10 or 12 seed bombs that are going to be about golf ball size. And as the kitty litter gets wet, you can see it starts to dissolve a little bit. It gets a little more.
To get a little bit mushier.
Yeah, we want the texture of Play-Doh, essentially. So, oh, here it's starting to come. You have to work it just a little bit. You have to knead it just like you would potter's clay. It has to be worked. See, now it's starting to want to stick together.
You want to think about what kind of seeds you're putting into your bomb. If you are putting seeds in, mixing seeds, you're going to want to make sure that they are compatible and that they are sown at the same time of year, that they have the same light requirement. Anything that will make you happy when you see those blooming. And we found a great resource for Oklahoma natives, and that is plants.usda.gov.
So I've made a couple wildflower ones, and the wildflowers I put quite a few more seeds in there because you can, and they don't mind being close together as much as like sunflowers do. So I've got a couple of these, and now they have to dry. So when you're finished with these, they need to be set outside in a shady spot for about 24 to 48 hours depending on the humidity. Like right now, probably 72 hours, it's been so humid. But once they're dry, and they will get about this dry, then you can do one of two things. You can either set them outside and wherever you want to plant them, or you can launch them somewhere. That's the fun part for kids, is even with a slingshot, they can launch them somewhere.
Right. So as these it has this hard crust, and as the seed germinates and the crust breaks, then the soil that's there helps the roots to grow.
Well, and because they're round and the outside gets hard, it stays moist on the inside. And because it's clay, no matter which kind of clay you decide to use, it'll absorb moisture either from rainfall. Sometimes you might want to plant these outside just before you know it's going to have a good heavy rain.
So making seed bombs is inexpensive, easy, fun. It's a great project, messy. It's a great project to do with kids. So if you have these supplies on hand, someday when they're trapped in the house because of the weather, you can pull out these supplies and make seed bombs. They last for months.
If you're going to store them for a couple months, store them in a paper bag, not a plastic bag. And when you put them out, you have to decide if you want to water them depending on where you're putting them. If you're putting them in your garden, you're going to want to water them. But if you're just putting them out somewhere, you don't plant them, you just throw them.
All right, so we're out on Brookside down at around 41st and Peoria here in Tulsa County. And what we're doing, we're going to show you a little bit about what we're doing with community beautification, community business beautification. We're pretty excited about this project. Today we have Gerald Hatfield. Gerald's a master gardener with our program, and he's chairman of our community beautification, Tulsa Blooms. So Gerald, you may tell us a little bit, how long have you been in the program, and a little bit about the pots?
Well, I started Master Gardener in the class of 2012, as you know, Ryan.
Okay.
I've been chairman of this particular Tulsa Blooms for the past 2 years.
Okay.
And one of the things that I'd like for everybody to understand is that this is all volunteer.
Yes.
We've got 18 volunteers that help us do the maintenance. They do the watering, the fertilizing, they trim back a little bit when it's required. But then twice a year, like this spring, we planted these petunias, and in October, we'll pull the petunias out and we'll plant either violas or pansies. And at that point, and that's when the Master Gardeners really turn out and help us. And we'll get like 50 people down here between here and Blue Dome downtown.
Yeah.
We've got, between Brookside and Blue Dome, we've got 120 pots that we maintain, that we plant.
That's awesome.
And once again, it's all volunteers. I would say that we've got approximately 30 to 35 merchants that support us.
Okay.
What they do is originally they paid to have the pots set about 10 years ago. That's how old this program is.
Okay.
And then since then, they pay us so much a year if we do the watering, and then so much a year if they do the watering. And then all we do is just plant. And there's a mix of that. I've got 18 people, as I said before, that's on the watering team. We water Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. As a matter of fact, I'm one of those people, and I just finished with the help of my grandson.
Right, it is work, and I mean, on these pots, some of them have irrigation. I think we were talking about half of them, they have a drip irrigation, which we enjoy, because learning from experience, if they don't have a constant water, especially during these heat summer days, it gets hot, and very important.
Well, and also too, over the years, we've experimented with different plants. As you know, for a long time we had some boxwoods in here, but they were just sucking all the moisture out, and our petunias faltered about this time of year. So a couple of years ago, we pulled all them out, and now we're going to this fountain grass, and we've been fairly successful. But I think, as you and I have discussed, next year we'll probably move to a different type of grass, and we keep experimenting to find the best mix of what is good maintenance and is beautiful.
Right, and we have bubblegum Vesta petunias around. That's the pink flowers, and then, like Gerald said, we have the purple, the fountain grass. Fireworks is a variety on that, and we like the pink, but we would like to go to another color, and we tried that a year or so ago
and failed.
And failed. So, and then now we've kind of got a trademark of this pink. And everybody recognizes these flowers down here, and that's something we were trying to do on that, and it works fairly well for us. And like you said, we expanded. We about 5 years ago, we decided to try another area, so we found Blue Dome District downtown.
Well, down in the Brookside, we've got east-west streets, and we just didn't get enough sun. So we've experimented with lantanas, and we've got some good-looking lantanas down there right now. We've put in some petunias, and just various different plants, and we're watching them real close to make sure that what we've got is going to work. So each year we just try to go with something that we know lantanas will work, and now we're trying to find another species that'll work in with the lantanas, make a beautiful full pot, and every year we learn a little bit.
Great.
Through our program down at Blue Dome, people saw that, and now the city of Tulsa, Downtown Unlimited, as you'll know, is doing some things based on what the luck we've had with our pots down there.
Correct, and we're excited about that as well.
Hi, my name is Amanda Ford, and I'm one of the FCS educators here in Oklahoma County. And today we're shooting in our new OSU Conference Center in our demo kitchen. We just opened this facility in September, and so it's open for community use. We use it for a lot of our programs here, but we also rent it out to our community partners that need a kitchen or a demo kitchen or prep kitchen, anything like that. So today in our kitchen, we're going to show you guys how to make an orange couscous salad. This is a really easy, light, refreshing salad. It's great for summer or fall time when you don't want to spend a lot of time in your kitchen or heating your kitchen up. It's also very versatile. You can add a lot to it if you want, depending on what you like and the flavors that you like. So to start out, I have some water boiling over here on our stove, and I'm going to add in 1.5 cups of couscous. If you've never cooked with couscous before, it's just a grain or a pasta. It's made from durum wheat, and it's really easy to cook with. It's similar to rice, and so you just bring your water to a boil and then let your couscous sit. I'm gonna turn my heat up just a little bit, cover it, and we'll just let it set for a few minutes, and it'll absorb that water up like rice and get really nice and light and fluffy. Couscous, if you're familiar with it or know about it, it's a staple in the Mediterranean diet or in North African regions where they eat a lot of grains or things like that. And so it's really, it doesn't have a strong flavor. It has a little bit of a nutty flavor, but you can add a lot to it to fit your flavor profile. While it's sitting here, I'm also going to add in a little bit of turmeric and some pepper. I think this is about 3/4 a teaspoon of turmeric and 1/4 a teaspoon of pepper. And I'm just going to stir that in. The turmeric adds flavor, but it also gives your couscous a nice golden color that makes it really pretty. Okay, I'm going to turn my heat down and just let that sit a minute. Okay, while our couscous finishes cooking, we're going to start on our dressing for our salad today, or our mix today. And so our dressing is just going to be 1/4 cup of lemon juice. We're going to add a tablespoon of olive oil. And then we're going to add about a tablespoon of freshly ground orange zest, or zested orange. And then I'm just going to whisk that together until it's all mixed. You could add a little salt to your dressing if you like. I'm following the recipe exactly today, but you could add a little salt or pepper to it if you wanted to increase the flavor. And then to that dressing, we're also going to add just a handful of chopped chives. Sprinkle those in there. The chives give it a really pretty color and a lot of flavor. Okay, we'll let our dressing set. You could make this the night before or the longer it sets, the more those flavors are going to absorb each other and meld together. So it'll taste better, a little bit better if you made it the night before and let it set, but it's perfectly okay to make it the day of too. For the base of our salad, I'm making a little bit different today. You can either make just a regular, what we think of salad, where you put your lettuce in here and toss all your ingredients together. Today I'm going to make more of an appetizer version, so we're going to make lettuce cups. So instead of adding my lettuce to the bowl, we have our lettuce over here. We'll make our lettuce cups. But the main base, or the ingredients of our salad, are going to be chickpeas or garbanzo beans, whatever you prefer to call them. We've just drained and rinsed those out. Mine are straight out of the can. Again, I'm making this recipe just like the recipe calls for, but if you wanted to change it up a little, you could roast your chickpeas, toss them in some olive oil and some cumin and cinnamon to give them that Mediterranean flavor, and then put them in your oven for about 30 minutes at 425, and they'll get a nice crunchy texture. I think that would be really good with it too. So we're going to add our chickpeas, our red onion, that's 1/2 of a red onion, about 1/4 cup of raisins. If you prefer dried cranberries, you could use dried cranberries. And then we're going to add in about 1 cup of just canned mandarin oranges. We rinsed most of the juice out of those. Okay, we'll toss that. I love the colors in these salads, the greens and the oranges. Every color that you eat represents a different antioxidants and different phytochemicals that are beneficial for our diet. Okay, you can see now that our couscous is really light and fluffy. It's kind of like rice. It's actually, like I said, a small pasta, but it looks a lot like rice. And then when you go to your grocery store, if you've never purchased couscous, today we just use plain. There's all different flavors. And there's like colored ones too. The color, I just got plain white, but you can do orange, brown. They would look really pretty in this recipe. So I'm gonna dump my couscous in here. And we'll stir that together. And then last, we're just going to pour our dressing that we pre-made over the top. The couscous kind of smells like stuffing at Thanksgiving, I think. So again, from here, if you wanted to just put it on top of your lettuce, you could. But we're gonna make some lettuce cups. So I just have my red leaf lettuce out here. And you'll just take a few scoops and fill up your cup. And then it makes an easy, maybe if I can wrap it, an easy grab and go appetizer. That would be great for a summer or fall cookout or a family gathering or something like that. Thanks for joining us today. I hope you enjoy this recipe.
Next week, we'll be back with an all-new episode as we continue the 2018 gardening season. We'll be getting everyone ready for spring with a summertime visit to the Margaret Annis Boys Arboretum in Edmond, Oklahoma. We'll have onion varieties for your vegetable patch, and Casey will be starting some new construction projects in her concepts garden. Join us then for more TV you'll grow to love. To find out more information about show topics, as well as recipes, videos, articles, fact sheets, and other resources, including a directory of local extension offices, be sure and visit our website, oklahomagardening.okstate.edu. And we always have great information, answers to questions, photos, and gardening discussions on your favorite social media as well. Join in on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can find this entire show and other recent shows, as well as individual segments on our Oklahoma Gardening YouTube channel. And tune in to our OK Gardening Classics YouTube channel to watch segments from previous hosts. Oklahoma Gardening is produced by the Oklahoma Cooperative Extension Service as part of the Division of Agricultural Sciences and Natural Resources at Oklahoma State University. The Botanic Garden at OSU is home to our studio gardens, and we encourage you to come visit this beautiful Stillwater jewel. We wish to thank our generous underwriters, Southwood Landscape and Garden Center, and the Oklahoma Department of Agriculture, Food, and Forestry. Additional support is provided by Pond Pro Shops, Greenleaf Nursery and the Garden Debut Plants, and the Oklahoma Horticultural Society. We hope you enjoyed this video. It's part of our Oklahoma Gardening YouTube channel. You can also find even more videos on our OK Gardening Classics YouTube channel. And join us on social media for great gardening tips, photos, and discussion.